In this video, we will look at how to solve one-step equations where the coefficients or the constants could be positive or negative numbers. It says here that these are rational coefficients and constants. What that means is they could be positive or negative numbers, and they could include fractions. For example, here we have a negative constant, and in this case we have a negative coefficient. Now let's go ahead and solve these equations. I would like you to pause the video right now and try these problems on your own in your notebook, and then come back and look at the solutions. The first equation is x minus 314 equals negative 456. Now the way we solve equations is by doing inverse operations. So since we have minus 314, let's add 314 to both sides to get rid of the minus 314. Okay, so this will get cancelled out and you will be left with an x, and negative 456 plus 314. You will essentially be subtracting the absolute values, so you'll get 241, and that's negative 142. So x equals negative 142. So now let's do a check to see if our answer makes sense. I'm going to actually first draw a number line, and let's say this is negative 142. And from negative 142, we are taking away 314. Minus 314 is going to move the number farther left, and kind of makes sense that it lands at negative 456. Now actually let's deal with the numbers. So you have x minus 314, which is on the left hand side, and that is equal to negative 142 minus 314, and that is negative 142 plus negative 314. Now since both the numbers are negative, you just have to add their absolute value. So negative 142, or rather 142 plus 314, and that is 456. So this is negative 456. 456. And our right hand side is also negative 456, which means our answer of x equals negative 142 is correct. Now let's look at the next problem. Negative 2/5 x equals 30. This negative 2/5 is being multiplied by x, and we want 1x. So let's just divide both sides by negative 2/5. And how do we divide 30 by negative 2/5? I wish I had left some space on this side. I'm going to write it here. 30 divided by negative 2/5 is the same as 30 times negative 5/2. And so this 2 and 30, that's 15. 15 times negative 5 is negative 75. That means 1x, or just x, is equal to negative 75. Now let's formally do a check. On the left hand side, we have negative 2/5 x, and that is equal to negative 2/5 times negative 75. I'm going to continue it here. So 5, that's 15. And negative times negative is positive. 2 times 15 is positive 30. And the right hand side, what do we have? 30. Which means our answer of x equals negative 75 is correct. Now let's try solving two more equations. So here are the two equations. Negative x over 4 equals 8, and 20x equals negative 16. Again, I would like you to pause the video, try these problems on your own in your notebook, and then look at the solutions. So here we go. Negative x over 4 equals 8. What does that mean? It means x is being divided by 4. So to get rid of that 4, you have to do the inverse operation. So let's multiply by 4 on both sides. So multiply by 4 and multiply by 4 on this side. So when we multiply negative x over 4 by 4, the two 4's cancel each other out and we are left with negative x. So negative x equals 32, and if negative x equals 32, that means x must be negative 32. One way we can think about this is if I multiply both sides, by negative 1, negative 1 times negative x, negative times negative is positive, so that's positive x, and 32 times negative 1 will give you negative 32. Now let's do a check. In the check, we have the left hand side where we have negative x over 4 and negative of x is negative 32, so negative of negative 32 over 4. Negative of negative 32 is positive 32, and positive 32 over 4 is 8. And on the right hand side, we have 8. This tells us that our solution of x equals negative 32 is correct. Now let's solve the next equation. We have 20x equals negative 16. Since 20 is being multiplied by x, we're going to divide it by 20, and so divide both sides by 20. And here we'll be left with x, and on the other side we have negative 16 over 20, and if we simplify that, I think we'll get negative 3/4. Okay, let's do a check. On the left hand side, we have 20x, and that is 20 times negative 3/4. So 1/4 of 20 is 5. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 20 divided by 4 is 5. That is giving us negative 15. But my right hand side is negative 16. So looks like this answer is incorrect. Let's go back and check where I must have made a mistake. So yes, we do have to divide both sides by 20, and let's simplify x equals negative 16 over 20. We'll divide both sides by 4, top and bottom. Now I have figured out the mistake. So negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. So the answer might be negative 4/5. Let's do a check and figure it out. So let's do a separate check here. Left hand side is 20x, and that is 20 times negative 4/5. And if we divide both top and bottom by 5, 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. And that is the same as the right hand side, which is also negative 16. That means negative 4/5 is the correct solution. I hope this last problem has convinced you why you should do a check.